Item 2.0, need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 3.0, approval of minutes, January 13, 2025, regular meeting minutes, January 29, 2025, special meeting minutes, pages 1 through 6. Need a motion to approve those.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 4.0, consideration of bills and warrants, pages 7 to 32.
Motion to approve bills and warrants.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5.0, hearing of requests and suggestions of citizens and organizations. Seeing none, hearing none, we'll move on to 6.0. Accountability Plan Report by Spark Wheel Report from Tanner Smith, Dara Bar Miller, and Susan Hill.
You're on.
I got 3 non-public speaking people, so. I guess we'll go for it. Here we go. So that's us. I'm at the middle school.
And I'm
There's-
at the high school.
I'm at Lincoln.
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna mess it up already. Okay, so these are kind of the rules we're required to do. Each student support coordinator serves at least 55 students in their school. We're only required to meet each student 1 time a month, but yeah, I mean, it's like once an hour sometimes. We must provide the 4 essential needs, which we'll show you here in a sec, and we must provide 4 universal supports per year at each school too. So just keep doing that. This is just a little data. You can see it. Just the different things. This is us combined, but the different supports that we do. You can see we do a lot of attendance. That falls under universal, so the whole school counts, so that's why it's so big. And the different things that we spend time on. The indirect student supports, because it's so small, you might wonder, that's just the meetings and things that we go to. We kind of tag those in, so we'll add this one. But everything else, future preparation, that'll be a lot bigger. This was only through December. And we'll have some more.
We'll have a future now finance. Mine is this Wednesday, and you have one coming up in.
I have one in March, she has one in February, so that'll add. So that's just kind of, you can see what we do with the targeted supports, which means like our small groups, that's students that are on caseload and also students that are not, that are just targeted for a certain reason or they want to participate. So 570 students. And then the orange is our caseload kids, time that's spent with them. And we have to do this in increments of 15 minutes. So even though it might only be passing period, it counts as 15 minutes. You guys know how data works. So this is our universal support. So all of the students, again, a lot on the attendance, positive behavior. The life skills, again, is going to be a lot bigger. Essential needs. And that one's kind of crazy because we give out a lot of essential needs. This is just when we're specifically, like if we talk with a parent and a family and we go and that's the support that we're offering to them, not when they come in and get a snack or deodorant or anything like that. So it looks really small and it's going to coincide with something else. So family engagement, we know how hard that one is at all levels, and we're all working on that one. Let's see. So then food assistance, this could be a snack, it could be food that they take home, it could be a lot of options. This is food, basically. That's our big one. Clothing assistance, we go through a lot of that too. And hygiene. School supplies, not as much, mainly because like at the beginning of the year anymore, there's so many different, like the churches and things that do that. So this is just throughout the year that we are giving that kind of thing out. So this one is, the numbers don't add up. exactly, because we carry more than 140 students. But that's what we were discussing earlier, that it's possibly because we've had kids move in, move out, we've had to replace them.
I know I lost 3 kids right at semester, so then you have to add them back. So it just kind of, the numbers are kind of off.
I've had expulsions and kids move and all kinds of things in our school. So 84% of 140 that are progressing, so, and whatever their goal is. So essential needs, that's the universal supports for any and all students in the building. Things like this. Hygiene products, that's Dara's collage of all kinds of things. School supplies, clothing closet, all of the things that we add in there. And then different, like I said, there's snacks at school, there's just treats, there's you did a good job treats, and then there's food that some kids take home. So handle all that. Same thing. We all put things in here. So group activities, targeted supports. I could quit talking if you want. If you want. Oh, we can't move it.
Let's see.
Well, okay, that one's mine. So that's Dungeons and Dragons. We have an anime club, and we have some other things that are after school, because that gives like kids who don't do sports, they've got other options. They can be involved, make friends, and be with their peers.
These are just some pictures of my lunch and study groups. They have a test that day. We study for it at lunch. I also use my Viking time for study groups, because at the high school, I actually have a Viking time that has my caseload students in it. And so I use that for a lot of group targeted stuff. This is also lunch groups. Susan had Cheryl Bowen come in and do an activity with the kids. That's what we try to do with our lunch groups. Bring people in, just different faces for the kids to see, hear stories, do things.
This is, so I get all the recess equipment out with a group of kids every day and just practice walking in line, being quiet in the hallway, taking turns and not fighting over which tricycle we grab. Just small little life skills like that. And I try to switch up and use a different class every day.
So attendance and behavior, universal support for all students. This is just more pictures basically of what it is that we're doing. The attendance challenge, that's middle school with Independence and Royster. That's Sparky LeBron. He's a traveling trophy, so if another school beats us, then he leaves and goes to them. But until this month, or I guess January, January, we had him the whole time, but we didn't do so great this last month.
Sickness.
Sure is.
Just more attendance and behavior incentives here. I've had teachers email kids that have just stood out in their classes, take something to let the other students see. This is like positive behavior, and then attendance incentives there.
And that is, we've done weekly attendance incentives where we take all of the kids who are there every day of the week, put their names in a drawing. We pick 4 kids, and then they get a candy bar or a little toy. In December, we did a bigger one for the whole month, and the biggest prize was a tablet for a girl who had made it every day the whole year. And we gave away a bunch of toys with that one too.
Viking store, it's kind of at a halt right now because we had some Viking buck crime. Yeah, but we're going to probably have a big sale and let them use all their Viking bucks here pretty soon, and then we'll see what happens. So academics, this one's pretty short. There you go.
That's me with my kids, some of my graduates. The academic stuff that I do with, the seniors just depends. Just feel like some of these pictures aren't exactly with that, but I just can help them
Stuff they need.
with the, yes, line up the stuff they need for college. Like, I've just helped them set up their dorm, like their living spaces, like help them log into their college websites, just all this stuff, like help them. I've gotten some social security cards. I've helped them get driver's license, just stuff that I feel like is important for them to have before they leave the school. Let's make sure we knock those out.
We do save your grades. I think Dara does it too.
Something like that.
Just keeping kids after school, have a little session, have some food, get some work caught up. Because they can do it at home, but not everybody will go home and do it. So it's just kind of like, come on, let's get in here. I've got snacks. Let's do this. Future preparation.
So that's kind of more what I talked in last. I work with Kylie and on the Apply Kansas Day. I help out with that. And this here is getting the driver's license. We probably went to the DMV about 6 times to get that driver's license, all the stuff that they need. He was very happy that day that we finally got it.
And it wasn't because he didn't pass the test, it was
No,
when you got there.
it was
they
the
needed
documentation.
A different piece of paper, a different document.
It just happened to be that he,
Multiple trips.
it was addresses not matching up due to being in different homes and all this stuff. And we finally got it. We got the right person at the DMV. Future now finance. This is something that I've always done at the high school and Susan has started doing at the middle school. It's just a great day. I know a lot of you volunteer for that day and it just gives them reality. It's a day in the life at 26. So they just kind of go around and they have their budget and their career and they spend their money and they do their bills. They pay bills, get cars, insurance, all the real life stuff. And it is a very good reality check for them.
Dara's having one Wednesday.
Yes.
And I will have one 6th grade. I will have one on March 10th. So if anybody wants to volunteer, I've had some nice volunteers in here. Just let me know about that. It's a lot of fun. Life skills, extra lessons, and fun activities that we do. Tanner?
Oh, this is the shoe tying club. It's not something that you would think of that a lot of kids would need help with, but it is a very important life skill, and it's best to teach them at the age that they are at Lincoln. So what they do is they show me that they can tie their shoe. They get a paper shoe to decorate and hang on the wall. Our shoe road did fall over Christmas break, so we've got to make some repairs. But then after they add a shoe to the wall, they get to come get a little keychain for their backpack, and so all the kids are showing each other their shoe keychains on their backpack. And I think we're up to 70 kids now that are in the shoe tying club.
Because there are middle school kids who
Well,
cannot
and
tie their shoes.
the thing is that they have to go home, and it's like a family engagement thing. They have to sit down with an older sibling or a parent, grandparent, somebody at home, and learn how to tie their shoes, and then come show me, so that they're not badgering their teachers to teach them how to tie their shoes. They go home, learn it at home, and then come show us, and then they get to join the club.
This one is just a dining etiquette course. The kids really enjoyed it, and so apparently I'm going to have to do it here really soon again. They learn all about how to set a table, manners when they're eating, and then I make them dinner and we utilize our skills. But they enjoy it. I made them dress up and everything. If they didn't come dressed up, they got in the closet, they got dressed up. And then this one is when we were ringing bells for the Salvation Army, because a lot of our kids get a lot of things. And so trying to teach them how to give back and where some of those things that they get come from. So this was fun. I've done it for a few years. And then Dara also took some kids today, which some of those kids were my kids last year or 2 years ago. and
all
so
of Susan's babies.
we got a thing going. They're enjoying it.
This is, we did a class competition to raise money for a new shed where each class decorated a Christmas tree that I had donated. So I think we had 20 to 25 trees. And then after the competition, a few of the kids took them to a local nursing home and donated them to residents at a local nursing home.
So at the middle school, all of the kids, in our computer system, the demographics, we make sure that everybody's covered. So even though we only have one Native Hawaiian, they still get their May. So everybody feels like they belong and everybody is represented.
I went with classes to the pumpkin patch. A cool thing about Spark Wheel is that we can go on trips like this and provide snacks, but also provide support just as another adult. These were actually pictures with preschool, so they needed all hands on deck because it was a fun trip. But just being another body in the room and taking some of the responsibility off the teachers worrying about snacks and things like that.
Oh, this one was grocery games. The kids get the weekend pack bags, but they have really bad habits of just taking like 2 granola bars or something, or the pudding, and then throw it in the trash, which freaks me out a lot because I was a hungry kid. So we started kind of collecting a lot of it, and then I had way too much of it because I couldn't get rid of it. So I bought some extra food, just the random stuff that you have in your fridge all the time. Well, most people. And then we made like grocery games, kind of like the guys' grocery games and Chopped, that kind of thing. And so I put all their food out there, and then they made up whatever they could come up with. And they were pretty surprised about the fact that those little cans that they always throw in the trash will make good food by adding just a couple of things to it. But it was just something to do to convince them to take them home. So that was us. Any questions? Good.
I think y'all do a great job. I enjoy coming in whenever you ask for volunteers. I see the kids connect with all of you, and I know it makes a difference having another person that they know they can go to. So you guys do a great job, and I love it. So thank you.
I'll see you in March. Yeah.
I'll be there. I can come. I was going to email you. But there, I'm coming.
I've seen a lot of these pictures and things on Facebook are similar, but I didn't know it was Spark Wheel all the time.
Yeah.
So
Spark
good
Wheel
to
has
see.
been really important in our fight for chronic absenteeism and all the incentives and the work that we're doing there. They're a big part of the success that we're showing there.
All right, any other questions, comments?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Very much appreciate it.
Nice job.
Oh, my, there.
All right, item 7.0, report from the superintendent of schools.
All right, so today was professional development, and we had Dr. Watson, the Commissioner of Education, that was here with us, and that was really fun. It's always good, I feel like, to hear him when I go places, because he always provides data on the number of graduates and the improvement, and how that's related to test scores, how that's related to attendance. So I'll have his PowerPoint at the end of the week, and so I'll include some of that in the view, but it was really nice to have him here. So we started out with a breakfast, which was our ladies and gentlemen in the cafeteria cooked. It was pretty tasty. And then we started at 9. KSN was here today, but he was going to be on the news at 6 o'clock tonight, so busy. So hopefully there'll be a link so that you can get out and we can attach that and you'll be able to watch that. So, and then after he was finished this morning, Spark Wheel, there was a representative from Spark Wheel that came and talked about resilience and hope for the high school and middle school staff. And I'm sure the principals will let you know what they did the remainder of today. So February 17th, which is next Monday, no school. It's President's Day, and the district offices are closed, so there won't be anyone here. March the 10th, we'll be here before we know it. And that is, that's already the end of the third quarter. Okay, so we have early dismissal that day, and that means at noon we dismiss. So we still feed meals, but buses will run right after that at noon, because we have, on March the 10th, we have parent-teacher conferences that afternoon for the middle school and high school from 4 to 7:30, and that's also our next regularly scheduled board meeting is that day. So you'll be getting a link before too long in your email to set up a time for your conferences. So those of you that still have kids in school, there are other days to have conferences because on the 10th, you have more meetings. Okay? So, and we are going to do student-led conferences again at the middle school, high school. We're working on making those more meaty and not just like a 3 or 4 minute real quick thing. Kids get nervous and want to share. So it's a part of their individual plan of study, that IPS. So that'll be happening there. And then the remainder of that week, the 11th and 12th, we've still got more parent-teacher conferences. One night is the elementary, and then the next night it's everyone. So the 14th is the day we have off. That is the comp day for teachers for having done conferences those 2 nights before. And then it takes us right into spring break, which is the 17th through the 21st. And then we'll be back. So be here before we know it.
All right. Item 8.0, report by the principals.
Come on down. Here they go.
Good evening.
Good evening.
A little bit more about our in-service today. After Randy Watson, when Sparkwell, the representative from Sparkwell came in, Mr. Gordon and Sparkwell they worked together hand in hand. Mr. Gordon did a lot of legwork to get her to come in. We had to switch some times, so he really communicated well with her to get her in here. When she talked about hope and resilience, she mentioned mental health and the trauma-informed stuff that we've been doing. So it's always good when someone comes in from an outside organization and they talk about things you can do to make life easier for students, and it's something that we've already been doing. So that makes you feel good as a staff. It makes you feel supported by the board that we're ahead of other schools as far as when it comes to mental health for our students, which is a really big deal. After that, we had lunch, and then we had test security for state assessments that are coming up, and then we had positive postcards, and then our staff did standards alignment. Some other things that have been going on, January 15th, Mrs. Lucas held a FAFSA completion event. That's for federal aid. She did a evening and a daytime opportunity so parents could come in, finish that FAFSA so their kids could get aid for college. January 29th, Ms. Schaefer took FCCLA to the district competition at Pitt State, and according to her, everyone qualified for the state competition, which will be coming up. February 4th, Mrs. Houck and Mrs. McDonald took 37 students in the math club to a math competition at MSSU. They will also attend another competition in April. They will also attend another competition in April at Pitt State. This Friday, Mrs. Mayu, our social worker, took 9 kids to a diversity leadership conference in Emporia. And Mrs. Martin took 2 students, Adrian Ortiz and Jasmine Marajas, to Great Bend with Key Club for the Key Club State Board meeting. We have Future Finance coming in Wednesday. They'll be in our gym where they go over, they give students a budget and show them how to work within that budget throughout the day. NHS is taking applications for admission with the admission ceremony coming up March 4th. And as Ms. Perkins said, student-led conferences March 10th and 12th. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Thompson.
All right, so I've got most of the activities, some of the other things going on. So winter sports are wrapping up. Roughly 2 weeks left, 3 weeks, kind of right on to March. Girls wrestling, we have 2 girls who are in the gym wrestling SEK right now. They both have had a really good season. Could see a state qualifier out of them. Boys wrestling, we have about 20. They have SEK later this week. And they both have regionals coming up. Regionals for girls is this weekend in Paola. Boys is next weekend at LCHS. Girls basketball, we had 11 girls out for the team last year. We have 20 this year, so awesome improvement there. Coach Kroll doing a great job. I think he's building a great foundation, trying to do things the right way. So good first year for him. Boys basketball, we have 27 boys. As of now, we're in position to host a first-round playoff game. It's all bunched up in the middle. It could go either way, but we're in a good spot right now. Boys swim, we had 2 come out. Good experience. They're not necessarily the greatest swimmers, but they've gotten better, improved their times throughout the season. Spring sports will start March 3rd, so less than a month away. Baseball, softball, track, boys tennis, boys golf. Scholars Bowl placed second at their last meet they went to in Galena. That was January 30th. Probably the biggest news from sports and activities, our two-speaker debate team of Madeline Armitage and Mackenzie Taliaferro finished 4A state runner-up, so pretty big deal. Our novice debate and forensic students in the four-speaker debate finished fifth. So those are kind of the kids that, hey, they don't have as much experience and they still finished fifth, so they're doing a great job in debate. Forensic season started. We hosted a big tournament last weekend here at the high school. As far as behavior goes at the high school, I was running some numbers today, and at this point in the year, if we were comparing it to at this point last year, we're down over 30% on referrals, so that is a really good sign. I think that number will get bigger as the year goes on. I don't know, I think the staff are doing a great job as far as supervising in the classroom, in the hallways, building relationships. They're being proactive instead of reactive. So, you know, I could say it's all us. We're out there doing a great job, but the staff is setting the tone for that. We've had PD opportunities that have helped with that, with dysregulation in the classroom. And I think that the staff has applied that to what they do with the kids, so really good stuff. Overall, culture in the building I think is really good right now. Feels positive, feels happy, like people want to be there, and it's not always that way, so I think it's a good spot right now, and hopefully we can build on it.
And I will say, if you come up to the building just about any time of the week during the evenings, we have so many outside groups that use our building that I think is a big plus, that they get to come in, be it even the rec center or Honor Flight that comes in. There's a lot of groups using our building in the evenings, which is a good thing. Any questions?
Questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so I'll be the third person to say this. We did in-service today. It started with Dr. Watson. And then, we worked with Sparkwheel right before the school year started. Susan Hill introduced me to the idea of the positive childhood experiences based on a speaker that she had seen. And so we got a hold of that speaker and we were able to nail her down for January. So we talked about positive childhood experiences and how that contributes to the climate and the culture inside the building, especially with our students. And we knew that we wanted to touch it again, so we wanted to bring that speaker in. Weather didn't allow for it in January, and so she was able to make the trip today. So they got that development. We went back to the building, and Mrs. Knowlton took the staff through a data dive on e-hall pass and behavior referrals at this point in the school year. Then we broke off into our strategic committees, and so IPS, SEL, academic data, we all kind of broke into our teams and planned out the rest of the year. Next time we have in-service, we'll be talking about 25 and 26 and planning and making those small adjustments. And then we finished up having a meeting where we invited everybody that was interested in it for the 21st Century Learning Grant. It's a lot of things that we're already doing, but this would bring in additional funds for things like AIR, what Mr. Pontius is doing after school at Garfield, and this would provide additional funds for the clubs that we already have, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons or Anime Club or Chess or Spirit Club, just all of the things. So that's an exciting opportunity. Myself and Mr. Campmeyer are working on that right now. The grant is due at the end of, right before we go on spring break for March, and the letter of intent is coming up next week, Lori. And so we'll be able to present that to you. Student-led conferences are coming up in March 10th and 12th. It's just about 4 weeks away. On the 10th, one thing that we've done this year that's been something that's going to stick, I think, whenever I'm talking to the staff, is on those noon dismissals, we're using that for community engagement, community service, and individual plan of study. And so we've got kind of a rotation, if you can picture inside of your head. So eighth grade was the first ones to do it. They got exposed to Future Now Finance. And so you're given a budget. I know that they had just kind of spoken on it. But you're given a budget and they're realistic because one of the students, before they walked into the gym, and it's, it's a financial budget for whenever you're 26 years old with a pretty common career. The kids fill out a survey of interest, and then we assign them a career, a budget for the month. And so the student brought it up to me and asked me, is this realistic? And for me, I was like, yeah, that's exactly where I was when I was 26. That's exactly what I was doing. And so, it's a good opportunity for the kids. We went through eighth grade, we went through seventh grade, and now we're nervous about sixth grade. They're 11 and 12. It's going to be a little bit, but we're going to do it, and they're going to be safe, and everything's going to be fine. But we might make that adjustment next year. But sixth grade will do Future Now Finance on that March 10th. Seventh grade is going to go, eighth grade did bingo in the nursing homes. Sixth grade went to the park and they picked up trash. And seventh grade is going to go to Lincoln and Garfield, and they're planning scavenger hunts right now. And so they've got two different plans, one inside in case of the weather, and then hopefully they get to use the parks around those schools. And eighth grade, this one is the first one that we've done, at least in my experience here. Eighth grade is going to go see Pitt State University. And so this year we're not going to LCC. We haven't been able to line that up, and I don't know that they're offering it this year. So we're going to go to Pitt State on that day and take the eighth grade to make sure that they get the opportunity to go see what higher education looks like. State assessments, we'll get to spring break. And then afterwards, whenever we come back, we'll start state assessments, ELA, math, and science. April 11th, we have a job fair for the eighth grade students. Now that's a real job fair. So they're looking at, these are spots where they could be working whenever they're 16. So it's Brahms, it's Sonic, it's Ace, it's different local employers here in town. And so they're putting together a resume, and then they'll go in and they'll mock interview inside of those. On the 25th is whenever they'll do their job shadowing. And that's been kind of a tradition for going back years.
So I have activities in athletics. Since the last time we spoke, girls' basketball has ended, so we shifted those seasons a little bit. So they went a little bit after Christmas break this year, and boys started a little bit later. Saw lots of improvement in the girls, and we're looking at starting some summer leagues with some area schools so that we can keep them in the gym, keep them active, just refine those skills. Boys' basketball, last week we had an assembly game. So on Thursday, they got to play in front of the whole school, which for some of those kids, that's the biggest crowd that they've ever played in front of, and the energy is high. It's a loud atmosphere, but the kids were so engaged, and the athletes played a great game. It looked like they really enjoyed it. I mean, how could you not, just playing in front of everybody and they're cheering you on? It's a really cool thing. The boys season will end February 24th, so we've just got a couple weeks left of that. And then in the spring, we'll have track, and we'll have golf and boys tennis. Those sports for us will start March 10th. So the high school gets a little bit of time before us since we share the track and everything like that. Our behavior data this year is still trending in the right direction. I know after we come back, it's hard to kind of retrain the groups and get back into the swing of school after they've been out for a long time. But last year at this time, we had 621 DRs, and currently we have 453. So it's really trending in the right direction, and I think it's really due to how diligent our staff has been with their supervision. They're contacting parents, and they're really being proactive instead of reactive. They let us know when anything is going on, so then we're able to handle things before it gets to a big point. That's been really helpful this year. We're also planning activities in the spring to help fifth grade transitions. So last year we did a fifth grade night over at the middle school in the spring, and they came in with their parents, and we were able to speak with them. They were able to do a scavenger hunt in the middle school.
We called it the survival guide.
Yes, the middle school survival guide.
Yeah.
And I think that helped the kids just kind of see the school, and they get to tour it with their classes, but we let them kind of just go around with their parents and see what the middle school has to offer. So our middle school, or our sixth grade team, has some really cool ideas of what to do this year and how to change it and refine it to make it better. But we're excited about that. That's all I got.
Questions or comments?
Y'all are doing a great job. I know your staff is really happy. That's one thing that I hear a lot from your staff is how much they enjoy coming to work. So y'all are doing a good job of creating a good atmosphere for them.
It is. The climate in the school has been great, and it's been positive.
You sense that
They're
when you
very
go into
happy.
the building.
Yeah.
Good.
We
From
did.
the time you are asked to come in until the time you leave, you sense it.
Good.
So we thank you for that.
Yeah.
On Friday, we asked him to describe our culture, just among the staff inside of it. And the two most common words that they used to describe the staff culture inside of the building was supportive and collaborative. And so,
That's great.
yeah, both of those are positive.
That's great.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, elementary, Mr. Freeze, Mr. Pontius, Mrs. Gardner.
Good evening. I guess I'll go first. Well, since we come back from Christmas break, we're off to a pretty good start. We've had 5 students since January 1st, and we've seen what we consider to be encouraging fast bridge results. Michelle Peavy does a great job of collecting this data and getting it to us, but 74% of our students showed typical or aggressive growth on their fast bridge math, and 56% showed that same growth in reading, which is positive. And our students at grade level from fall till Christmas in math went from 64% to 65% and 48% to 50% in 5th grade math. So that's positive and that's really good. We're at that time of the year right now where in 5 weeks we have spring break, parent-teacher conferences, and then we come back with our assessments. So this is the time to really dig in. And we have a lot of people in our building doing things to try to build incentives for our students. Maybe you might hear about them when we come home, but on our study island, we had 115 kids play bingo last week. Study island's an activity where they work on it. They've got to pass 4 topics a month. 115 of them passed it. And then Miss Piva worked with Taco Mayo, and Taco Mayo's donating half the cost for a lunch for students that pass all areas in a subject. So we've had 12 students do that. She goes and gets them and brings them lunch. It's a great motivator. Miss Piva also builds our IXL leaderboard. If you go in our building, look, we got our kids' pictures. The kids really like seeing their pictures on the wall. It's pretty competitive. 4th grade, our Benjamin Hibben is leading with 152 skills passed. We got a top 20 4th grade, top 20 5th grade. And then Trenton Ford's leading our 5th grade with 137 skills. Every month, Michelle, we call them up in the morning now, Good Morning Guthridge Assembly, and we celebrate those successes. And then we also have something called a AR leaderboard. It's kids reading on their own. If you earn 50 points, you get to go bowling. Last year, I forget how many we took bowling. I didn't put it down, but so far we've got 41 students that have passed 50 points. We have 3 students that have 150 points, which is quite a bit. That's Henry Legler, Carter Phillips, and Bailey Kanowski leads them with over 200 points. So they're all in the same group, and it's a pretty competitive and it's fun to watch.
It is competitive.
Yeah, competitive, and these incentives, you just try to do as many things as possible, and if you just get a few kids to buy in. And so attendance has been at the forefront of what we talk about. Mr. Watson came and talked to us today and shared some great charts, and you could see from the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and 4s, the chronically absence, the impact, if you can move those kids and get them to school. So we really appreciate having Coach Dixon in our building. He's helping our students through a grant. He's targeted, I think, 38 kids, but he's got 11 in our building, but he knows every kid. He's smiling. He's as positive and brings great uplifting energy in our building. And Miss Martinez helps me with all of our attendance incentives. So we spin the wheel every Friday at lunchtime. She creates a perfect attendance wheel, and if your name comes up, you win a prize. They love winning those prizes. We do 5 of those a week in 4th grade and 5 in 5th grade, and then monthly we reward perfect attendance. We played bingo. And Walmart has been donating $50 a month with 10 little $5 gift cards. Play bingo for $5 gift cards. It's kind of intense. It's pretty fun. And the kids, I like to crack jokes, so if you ever go play bingo with them, don't dare ask them who has 1 left. Because you ever watch kids play bingo? It's like, I only need one. And I'm like, nobody cares. And that's what they do now. They say, nobody cares. Let's just be 15, let's go. So those attendance incentives help. I'm a little worried since we've come back, the flu has hit our building pretty hard. Tony Martinez tracks us every week, and we're always in the 70 percentile perfect attendance. Sometimes we've cracked the 80 percentile, but the last 4 or 5 weeks we've been in the 50 percentile with perfect attendance, because there's just, when it hits your household, it just sticks. So those are the incentives we're doing to try to get us ready for when we come back and have some assessment data that we're proud of. Last week, our 4th graders celebrated Kansas Day, and then we got to go over to Lincoln and read, and Mr. Holmes got to be Zero, the hero, so had a lot of fun things going on. And trash bag sales started last week. So if you want to buy trash bags, high quality product, you gonna do another video?
They posted the old one.
Yeah, very close.
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
It is a classic.
Just keep going.
That's about all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freaks. Oh, Garfield is a wonderful place to be these days. A lot of the same things that the guys have been talking about so far. I just wanted to touch a little bit on our district assessment data. Our mid-year assessment data, we our second grade, percent of students at low risk or college pathway, that's the bottom 2 tiers on our district assessment. From those, we started out second grade ELA at 36% at the beginning of the year in the higher tiers, and we grew to 48% in December. In math, respectively, went from 34 to 56%. So the teachers are working really, really hard. That second grade growth is something we're really super proud of. Show some foundational work at Lincoln, and we're really proud to be the ones to benefit from that. Third grade showed a 4% increase of students in the top 2 tiers as well in ELA, and a 5% increase in math. Those numbers are, just kind of arbitrary, or they're a little abstract, I should say, probably. What does that mean in terms of actual kids? We moved 22 students out of high risk in math and high risk in math, and 13 students out of the high risk categories in ELA. So that's kind of what we want. We want to see that, continue to see that growth. Some other fall data measures that we looked at were teacher and school perception data, double-digit gains on our baseline in each measured area. This includes elements such as positive school climate, overall well-being, staff and leadership relationships, and teaching efficacy. So our staff think they can do it. They're happy to be there. They think our kids can do it. The student level perception data showed similar increases from our 2023 baseline in all of the areas, like emotional regulation, classroom effort, student self-management, excellent growth. And we're seeing those reflected in our behavior data. So our behavior data looks pretty good. We're happy with that, and we talk every single morning about Garfield grit and Garfield integrity, so that's something that we're really proud of, to see that actually maybe having a little bit of an impact. As far as student population, we had a little uptick in student enrollment. We gained 4 students over Christmas break. We ended up losing one shortly after we got back, so we're a net 3 for January. Looking forward, our Test Fest 2025 is planned for April. Several elements of such as encouragement buddy classes, parent participation, our Breakfast of Champions, maybe even a hype video or 2. A little cringy, but they're a lot of fun. Our second graders will be participating this year in the optional ELA state assessment. So the teachers actually, I was a little, concerned about that. When you put more things on staff's plate, it kind of sometimes that can be a negative feeling. But our teachers did not react negatively about that at all. They were actually kind of excited to see. What our third grade tested grade and our other tested grades, we have that division line in Garfield. We're not a tested grade, we are a tested grade. So we're looking at that like an opportunity to not only prepare our kids, but also for our staff, just to see and feel the verbiage and the way that assessment feels. It's not high stakes for our kids now. It's going to be a couple of 25-minute sessions according to the state. So something we're looking forward to seeing what that looks like and feels like for our second graders. Few recent activities that have popped up were World Read Aloud Day. That was amazing. We had dozens of amazing people turn up at Garfield to read to our students. Huge thank you to PHS students, student athletes, coaches, faculty, district leadership. We had parents and community members just all kinds of people in the building reading that day. I got to read to 6 classes, and it was, it was awesome. It was it's just a lot of fun to go in, read aloud, and enjoy the time with the kids with just that as the expectation, just pretty much enjoying it and having a great time. We also celebrated the 100th day of school with some instructional rotations with math tie-ins, primarily in the 2nd grade, but all of our students that participated really enjoy it. I'll tag on with Kurt, said currently participating in the PTO trash bag sales. If you need any, contact any elementary student or call our office. We'd be happy to put you down. Also, our recent Domino's Pizza Fundraiser night went really well. We had cars all the way out on the main street, so we did well, and that was that's very nice to partner with those community partnerships. Our after-school program running strong. We have about 40 to 50 students per day on most days, just getting that extra time and extra work, and they really are. They get after it, so that's something that we're really proud of. All in all, it's been a really fun and engaging, productive semester so far at Garfield. We look forward to a great remainder of the year. You guys have any questions for me?
He said everything I was going to say.
No, I got me to track.
I know, I'm last. Last week we had a really busy week. We had Chief Spirit Week all week, so we had a lot of fun there. And then Wednesday was World Read Aloud Day, which was fun too. We had a lot of guest readers come into Lincoln. In fact, some of you guys came to read. We had some students come and read from the middle school and from the high school, and we had the author Sarah Ellis come and read her book, and she's from Parsons, so she read The Chocolate Moo. So she read that to all of the classes. And then Thursday was the 100th day of school, so we did some 100th day activities, like gathering 100 things and showing what it looks like and bottles. Today, after Dr. Watson spoke, we went back to Lincoln and we looked at our FastBridge scores, and we kind of looked at each student as an individual, and we have a report that will show us like maybe what they were struggling in, exactly what they missed on it. So we kind of looked at all that to see where we need to go from there, to see what we might need to reteach, what we've done a good job teaching, where we need to plan to go. We also went over math vocabulary, so whatever, like in chapter 1, what they're going to teach, which vocabulary they're going to teach in chapter 1 and chapter 2 and chapter 3, so we can kind of all be on the same page with that vocabulary. Of course, Valentine's party is coming up Friday. Spring Pictures for Lincoln is coming up the 18th, the day right after we are out of school, so we're going to get that online there. The 21st, we're going to have a dental talk at Lincoln, so they're going to learn about teeth and good hygiene with teeth. The 5th, kindergarten is going to Greenbush for a science day, so they're going to have a lot of fun there. And the 6th, we're going to have title night. So we are going to have the theme Dr. Seuss, because it's kind of in that Dr. Seuss week. So we are going to do some fun games dealing with Dr. Seuss and reading. And then March 25th, we're going to have preschool and kindergarten roundup. So those are some important dates at Lincoln, and we're just checking on, having fun.
Y'all are doing a great job. I love whenever I get asked to come into the buildings. The teachers are happy, the kids are happy. It's great. I don't even mind putting on the Zero the Hero costume.
Because it's a cool costume.
Well,
I disagree.
Jeff's too cute.
y'all are doing a good job. Your buildings are so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
9.0 reports by Board of Education, Tri-County, Leanne Hunter. Is it
No
on the
meeting yet.
Page number?
It'll be Wednesday.
No meeting yet.
The meeting is Wednesday. And she sent us something today. It may be online.
Depending upon the weather.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
Yeah. And so I do know that we interviewed for a new coordinator at Tri-County. We had interviews last week, and so I do know we did do that, and a position's been offered, so I'm sure
yes,
that'll be something that'll be.
bring that up.
So
Yeah.
for Sherry?
Introduce us.
Yeah, because Sherry Dunley is retiring, so to fill that position, so.
All right, new business 10.0, action to accept donations to school, page 33.
All right. So for the month of December, the district office received a donation from Casey's of 1.5 cases of disposable cups for $120 value. At Lincoln, the Nazarene Church donated student supplies, $925. Faith United Methodist Church donated hats and gloves for students at $30. PTO made donations towards the shed, which was $1,500 for a total of $2,455 at Lincoln. At Garfield, Blue and Gold Sausage Company had an unrestricted rebate check, $298.78. Scholastic Book Fair, $12.81. The Parsons Grade School PTO made a restricted donation for a Christmas mini grant, $32, total of $343.59 at Garfield. At Guthridge, Casey's made a donation, $250. There weren't any at the middle school in December. At the high school, there was a $100 donation that was anonymous to the boys basketball program. And the Can Cruisers Car Club made a donation of $4,332.13 to the PHS Automotive Program. So that was a total of $7,600.72 for donations December 2024.
Need a motion to accept the donations to schools?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. 10.1, action to approve engaging with KSB to assist with professional negotiations for 2025-26.
All right, and so last year we had Luke Soba that joined us, and so he has taken a job in the private sector, and so Lori Knopp is her name. She is one of the other attorneys. In fact, she's I don't know if she's the director or the assistant director there at KASB in their legal services. And so they would help provide, whoever's on the negotiating team, which I think is you, right? And you, so we have negotiation training that they have to participate in, but this would be someone from KASB that would come, that would just make sure we had all the information that we needed. Budgets are going to be a little tight, so there'll be a lot of discussion, and we want to make sure that everything we do is according to the negotiated agreement and best for the district, so. And last year, it cost under $600 to have that done. So I would recommend having someone from KASB. More than likely, it'll be Lori, but we can't name her yet. She did reach out, but I would recommend having someone come.
Move to approve that.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 10.2, action on 2025-26 high school course description handbook.
Okay, so this was on the January agenda, and you received it at that time for first reading. I haven't had any questions or anyone reach out since that time.
Move to approve.
Moved, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry, I missed it. Thank you. All right, so this is, and the next one, 10.3, is the work camp. And really what I should have put in parentheses was paint Parsons, because that's probably how you remember it. So it is actually, they're actually called work camps, and it's through Doug Beatty at the church, Westside Christian. He's the contact person that does those. When we went back and looked, the district has hosted, and that means that all of those kids come in. I have a couple hundred of them that come in. They spend the night in our facilities. Our food service prepares their meals. They have their morning meeting. They meet in the gym. They also meet in sometimes the auditorium, cafeteria, those kinds of things. It's a week at a time. We have had them in the past in 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, 2018, 2023, and so this would be for the summer of 2026. And so what we did is they send you some dates of some possibilities. I took those dates, worked with maintenance and the high school administration to see, because they let you pick like your top two choices. And so we were able to look at the CASHA schedules and pick two of the top two choices and turn those in. But that's something that historically the board has approved us signing that agreement. So there is no cost to the district. They do reimburse us for meals. They pay for the extra custodial staff. They pay the wages for our kitchen staff as well. Because when these kids come to participate in this work camp or Paint Parsons, they have to pay. They're paying to come and do missions work. The students are, and so that's what that is. So.
Questions, concerns?
Just didn't know what it was.
I should have put Paint Parsons because Amanda said, well, Olivia called and said work camp. And I said, oh, I should have put, you're thinking, no, I should have put Paint Parsons. They're called a work camp, and that's what all the paperwork says is work camps, but we just know them as Paint Parsons. So they come in and do all kinds of projects around town for elderly and low income.
It's good for the community.
It is good for our community.
And they're great kids.
Yeah.
Really great kids.
All right, need a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. 10.4, action on 2025-26 academic calendar.
All right. So the proposed calendar, it was in your, it's in here, it was in a view. We sent all three of the proposed calendars out to the different reps in the buildings. They shared with staff and got ideas and feedback. And then we met last week as a group and kind of talked through that and had a proposed calendar that it has. So here's what's required. According to the negotiated agreement, it is required that we have 168 student days and 10 professional development days. So the calendar needs to be 178 days. However, when we calculate how long we go to school and we turn that into the state, we use hours. We don't use days. So just so you're aware, it's kind of a two thing. So there's all that information. Olivia, did you have anything you wanted to add? She was the board rep and came.
No, it was a great committee to be on. We met once.
We did.
One meeting.
For 1 hour.
Oh, wow.
It was wonderful.
We did.
All right.
And they made a decision.
Yeah. It was, and I felt like this time when they came, a lot of them had some ideas. What we had done a long time ago, I don't know if you'll remember, we had a lot of half days of professional development. You go till noon, then you'd have a half day. And the group, the teachers were like, that's not enough time to really do anything on a half day by the time you get kids gone, and then so make those whole days. So we took those half days and combined them, and we had them on Fridays. And then the feedback was, on a Friday, we have activities and kids, and we don't want to be out of school. So then we moved them to Mondays. And the feedback we got this time is like, every time we turn around, we have a day off, right? And just in the middle of November, in the middle of October. If we could chunk those times together, we could actually get down and get some work really done. And so that's what we did. We took the day that was usually in October and moved it to the beginning of the year, which will be beneficial to have an extra day because those days are always jam-packed with all the requirements and then the other things that need to happen. And then the November day we took and added to in January. So there's 2 solid days of getting ready and then professional development. And it isn't just every random Monday, and we don't have near as many 4-day weeks. So I thought it was a good idea and good feedback. So, and it'll be here before we know it.
It's nice to see this is not contentious anymore.
No.
The calendar.
Exactly.
It's really changed.
Yeah.
I mean,
they do a great
it's
job.
nice.
Good news.
Yeah, I remember years
Used to
ago.
take
we
a long time.
had a lot of meetings, but now we really don't, do we?
It's wonderful.
That's good.
We just
So Olivia, do you want to fight me for that committee next year?
I'm going to turn that over to, when I leave,
Oh, that's
Kidding.
you may have it.
Kidding.
So that is.
One meeting.
Yeah, one meeting.
1 hour.
One
hour.
meeting.
I'm
and
signing
it's-
up
All
yeah.
right, let's get a motion to approve that.
So moved.
So moved, seconded by Leanne.
Sure.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 10.5, Action on the following job descriptions: classroom instructional aide, school counselor, secretary to principal, instructional coach.
All right, and so those are on pages 39 through 47. There are 2 typos. And so what I did was when we made these and remember, these came from KSB as samples. And so it has all the legal things that a job description needs. And one of those is the department or / school that's located. And we accidentally wrote transportation on a couple of those. It just didn't get transferred when we did the updated ones to go in here. So the classroom instructional aide, their department is not transportation. Their department would be as assigned, and that one's on page 39. And then on page 44, secretary to principal, their department's not transportation either. That would be as assigned. So otherwise, everything was as it appeared in the view. And our admin and people that work in these departments have had an opportunity to look at these and to provide some feedback and to kind of, alter or change. But with those 2 corrections, I would recommend that you approve those job descriptions.
I just want to point, I love some of these job descriptions. Requires the ability to frequently work prolonged and irregular hours, which makes sense. Requires the ability to occasionally bend, stoop, push, pull, twist, or reach. Requires the ability to occasionally lift and carry items of 20 pounds or less. And ability to work and concentrate in noisy and crowded environments. I just found those kind of fascinating.
And it's true because
It is true.
that one is the classroom instructional
Yes.
aide. And any aide can tell you, they do a variety of things every single day.
Yeah, I thought it was funny at first, and I said, it makes sense. All right, need
They're
a
up and
motion
they're down.
to accept those job descriptions.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Action to approve DCS to repair the middle school fire escape.
All right, so that was listed in your view on January the 24th, and I have some pictures which were included in a view as well, if you want to see these. It's in bad shape. It's in bad shape. And so what we need to do is find out how bad a shape it's really in. And so DCS is a group that can manage that project. They will have people come in, have a structural engineer come in, they'll blow off all of the rust, they'll look to see what really needs to be repaired and what really it just looks bad. We don't know, and we can get that done. So the budget price for that work is $11,750.
So that includes all the repair work as well?
So
what
that
they
does,
estimate
it doesn't include any masonry or structural repairs. So what it includes is they strip down all the existing surfaces to bare metal. So they sandblast everything. Then the structural engineer will come in and do an on-site evaluation of the existing structure and determine this specifically needs fixed, or if anything does, the results, and will give us a written report of the results, the deterioration, what needs to be repaired, with recommendations, and then they will repaint, and it's a special kind of paint, that entire metal surface so that there isn't any further, what do you want to call it? Rust, and rust, because there's a lot of rust.
So it looks like there's going to be more work to be done, so that, will they give us another quote?
They will. They would give us another quote. And the thing is, with the fire marshal, for safety purposes, in order for this to pass inspection, we need to do this part first to determine if structurally we need to do something else, or if we don't. And then if we have a plan in which to do that, then it will pass inspection. So.
What do our maintenance people think? Is it structurally sound from their viewpoint?
They don't.
They don't know?
They don't know. And we don't have necessarily the expertise or the capacity to determine for sure. It looks and it kind of feels wobbly in some spots, and it looks very poor. We need to have someone come in and sandblast it and then really evaluate it and see.
When would they do this?
And so is sometime when the weather permitting this spring.
All right, need a motion to approve that?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. carries. All right, 10.7, executive session to discuss personnel matters for non-elected personnel. We said 10 minutes.
I've got about 5 minutes, probably. I've got about 5 additional minutes, potentially.
Okay, I'm sorry. So 15 minutes. So we need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
A motion, a second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to go into executive session, discuss confidential employee information pursuant to the non-elected personnel exception under COMA at
7:04.
let's say 7:05. And for 15 minutes, so it'd be 7:20, that we would return.
That's the motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. discuss confidential student information in 5 minutes, you say? I'll make the motion that we go into executive session to discuss the exception related to actions adversely or favorably affecting a student under coma at 7:22 for 5 minutes and return to this room at 7:27. Need the motion for that?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, item 10.9, I need a motion to go to executive session to discuss the exception for employer-employee negotiation on Tacoma at 7:28. I need 10 minutes, and return to open meeting at 7:38.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all approved, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
and the at-risk data. Yeah, no, that's
All
all
right,
great.
we're on the air.
You can show through the staff and how many pick each response.
Yeah.
All right. Item 1010, action to extend contracts of district managers and directors for 25-26 school year.
All right, so Rick Giefer, Transportation Director, Marla Kirkpatrick, Food Service Director, Ben McGuire, Technology Director, and Laura Allison, Business Manager. I recommend that you extend those contracts.
So moved.
So moved and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 1011, action on personnel.
All right, we have the following recommendations for employment. Nikki Brownwell, High School Secretary, effective February 3rd, 2025. Rick Donnelly, Substitute Bus Driver, effective January 21st, 2025. Richard Holsinger, Middle School Track Assistant Coach, effective the 25 season. Ivory Kelly, High School Track Assistant Coach, effective the 25 season. Matt Schultz, Middle School Golf Coach, effective the 25 season. Chris Smith, Middle School Part-Time Custodian, effective January the 21st, 2025. I recommend that you approve those folks for employment.
Need a mo- So moved.
Second.
Did I hear a second? Second, okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, we had one resignation from employment, Eric Wertz, Maintenance Director, effective February the 28th, 2025. Eric's done a great job for us, and he will definitely be missed. So, but I recommend you approve his resignation. He's going to go be the Carl Junction Maintenance Director when his family moves over there.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I don't know. I think I
Julie
motion.
and Kevin.
Second.
Sorry. All right,
Okay,
meeting is adjourned.
all right, 7:40.